Good evening. Good evening. It's Monday night, 7 o'clock. Here it is for mental mind treatments. And I have to first of all say I've had an incredibly good day today. I took care of some projects that have been staring me at the face, and I was able to 95% complete them. And that makes me feel really pleased. And so here we go. Well, Marion's up. She's saying, Good evening, Norma. My numbers are 7, 15, and 19. And I just got to write that down 17 and 19. Inspiration. Yeah. Wow. I had an inspirational day today. Well, actually, I've had a couple of inspirational days. Looking for prayer for inspiration, please. And blessing to all. It's always nice, Marion. You include everybody. So I'm going to just do this first, and then I've got my little list over here as well. The one thing I see about the numbers that I find interesting is that it's a lot about change, letting go of the old and moving in the new, but being scared of that. In other words, what has been familiar is where we're kind of at, and how to change that is really not really perhaps easy. It's about letting go of what has been and always has been mindset, behaviors, awarenesses, because we're tied into them, and there's a fear factor. If we let them go, what are we going to do? And yet it's a very necessary thing when we're into growth, when we're into progress, how to make that change. We often need to let go of I'm going to say old ideas or ways we've been doing things, old habits, all of that very often comes. So when I move into the mental mind treatment at this point of time, I just really, as I feel the vibration of the 7 and the 19, both representing change, it's about knowing that the universe has your back no matter what, and change is inevitable. Change occurs, and it changes on every level of who we are, our mental level, our emotional level, our physical level. There's a saying that comes into my mind which says, time waits for no man. And it, in a sense, that just represents that no matter what, we're on a cycle as we move around and move forward and move in the direction we're going, going into. I know in this change of letting go that the inspiration, that the clarity of thought, the clarity of awareness in the heart and in all aspects of where you're heading and where you're going occurs really, really easily. And I give thanks in this knowingness. I give thanks in knowing that there is a willingness to let go of old fears, a willingness to let go of old behaviors, willingness to let go of that which is old, and embracing the new, even though we're not sure what that is or how that's going to look, because it changes everything. It's kind of like being one of those little platform boards where you're up and down. But it's like, do we keep repeating the same old patterns of thought, or do we move forward in love and light and awareness and knowingness and being inspired by all that there is to be inspired? I give thanks in knowing that Marion is ready to move forward and let go of the old binds that have been holding in fear, anxiety, maybes, and all of those elements. So I give thanks for this, and we release this thought knowing that it is true with gratitude by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Jason says, good evening all. Karen says, greetings, Norma. I would love a treatment for loving acceptance of life and people. Oh, I like that. 12 and 4. Thanks again. Okay, Karen. 5 is knowledge, looking for knowledge, listening to the knowledge, and awareness. 12 is the acceptance of the knowledge. And 4 is not getting stuck. And again, we get old ideas coming up. You know, we're people of habits. And it's one of the things that I see a lot in the transformation work, where people run into their habits. I know I run into my habits. We sort of all have them. They're familiar. We know they're there. And maybe this is a night about that, about letting go. And by looking, first we have to decide this is a habit and is it really working for me? What I see here is that you're going through a stage of new awarenesses, new knowledge, new almost it's 12 is acceptance, and acceptance is there, but I think it's like new awareness. They're like a new vibration. And so there's an acceptance of that and letting go of any habits that say, well, this is how it is. Sometimes we study something for a long time and we get ideas really firmly in place that this is how it is. And then we run into something that says, no, take another look. There's a bigger picture here. There's another way of looking at this. And I think that's what you're running into, is about letting go of what worked before and is not necessarily going to work now because you are in a new vibration. And so you are going through what I already said for Marion, that up and down, like working away at the different elements that are going on. There's just so much growth here. And so I am incredibly grateful. So I don't think I've done the treatment. I've gone busy talking. I know there's one power in the one essence. And as I speak my word for Karen, I know it's the embracing of the knowingness that relaxes her into accepting the movement forward and the change, even if it's not very crystal clear yet. Knowledge comes in drips and drabs often because it has to be assimilated. And in that awareness, there is just so much enlightenment. And so I give thanks and knowing that Karen is willing to accept the enlightenment, the newness, the change, and let go of the old easier and easier with every breath. And I give thanks and the knowing of this as I release this by saying, and so it is. Amen. I'm just going to go for my list for a moment. And Karen Lee, I'll be back to you. I have a person I promised I would do this for. And this is, I'm just going to say the first letter, which is R. And basically I looked and figured the numbers was 12, 16, and 5. And to come to the terms with all the emotional feelings and be at inner peace is what the treatment will be about. But the 12 is about acceptance of the feelings, and 16 not feeling they're destroying everything. Like, oh my God, why am I feeling with this? What does this mean? And all that mental stuff that goes on with that, because it's just a matter of more knowledge in a different way. There's a lot of mental stuff that goes on here, and it just needs to be more coming into the heart and coming from that heart. So as I move into treatment, I know that is ready in so many ways and so many levels to come to terms with all the emotional turmoils, which is feelings that are going on, and to be at inner peace with it, to be at inner peace that this is who he is at this moment, but is not where he needs to stay. The fear of everything collapsing kind of drives him in the direction where he maybe doesn't really want to go. And it's about acceptance of the bigger picture, the bigger love force, the essence that is there for him. From my perspective, there is a need of more knowledge of a spiritual path that he can work with, and that knows that it doesn't have to be disastrous. It's just an acceptance of love and light and his own perseverance. I give thanks in the knowingness that as our work goes forward, he can just relax and be at one with his feelings and be at peace with himself as he moves forward. Peace is really important here. And I give thanks in the knowing of this by saying, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Amen. Okay, Karen Lee, hello. I know you've been watching that show that you mentioned in the same time as me. So happy to see you. Looking for a treatment for whatever comes to you. My numbers are 3, 17, and 22. Just a sec. I have to have a sip of water here. Still having a lot of water. Now, you understand the love force. You understand that you are so balanced, and the absolute knowingness of faith as you move forward and in the direction that you move forward to. All of this is who you are. And I just think the knowing this at times also can get a little tiring, because it's like we're waiting still for something else. And the thing is, what we're waiting for is what do we want to do with this? What do we want to do with this knowingness that you have? So I'm going to trade for knowing what to do, because that 22 is the faith to move forward. It's like you know it. Now, what am I going to do with that? There's a lot of shifts and changes in there. It's really a lot there. Anyway, let's see what comes up in treatment. Knowing that there is one power in one essence, I speak my word for Karen Lee. And as I speak my word for Karen Lee, the love force just shines so brightly. And the understanding of how it works. But it also seems to me it's a little bit out there, not so much in the whole aura of doing and being. It's sort of there, but it's not all there. I see all that brightness, but it's out there somehow. And so it's that having the faith and stepping into your power, stepping into your knowledge, stepping into the awareness, and always asking for what it is necessary. I'm smiling. I'll come back to that in a minute. For what is necessary to move forward. This is about you moving forward maybe in a whole different way. But I think you're needing to ask. I feel the need to ask and bring in that light and that power and allow it to work through you in ease and grace, because you're ready. I give thanks in the knowing of this. I give thanks in Karen Lee moving forward. And so there's all those wonderful things. Sorry, I had to smile and sort of do a little giggle in the middle of that, because if anyone's listened to my Sunday Thought, I talked about how I woke up with a dream pointing out why I'd had such a week. And if you haven't seen it, go back and listen to it. I think you'll get a smile as well. I'm going to go back to my little list here, and I've got a J. I'm going to also do this for. I picked 3 numbers for this person, which was 12, 13, and 4. And the what I wrote was to find purpose and direction and to go for it. Because with 12, it's about acceptance, things as they are. But when you have a worry that you are moving forward and not really knowing where you're moving forward to, there's a backing off, and it's like experience. It's like we keep creating things and we don't know what to do. And so my whole thing here really is in the purpose of finding direction and being able to go for it is really about acceptance of the movement forward, and also not getting confused, but rather listening to your spiritual nature. We all have a spiritual nature. We all have connection to the force, no matter which path we're on. I know, as I speak my word for Mr. J, that there is one power in one essence, and therefore I can speak my word for him, in knowing that it is the acceptance of his power, the acceptance of his love, the acceptance that there is a purpose. And as he moves into that purpose, it's like there is a transition that happens. But in doing that transition, he'll need to begin to believe and not think it's more of just the same. Needs to put the past behind and move forward in such a new direction where there's light and love. But until he gets that past out of the way, it's like he's hitting the wall all the time. So he'll say, oh, yeah, but I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But the reality is he's hitting his own fears of his own words. So that is where we're heading. Anyway, so I'm just going to be moving on here a little bit more because my Posetto wanted people in by 7:30 while I'm still doing the recovering of that. Hang on, there we go there. Maggie G. Good evening, Norma. Thank you for last Wednesday's explanation of the numbers. We'll just listen tonight for your prayers, and thank you for being there with us. So very appreciative. Blessings. Thank you. Glad you listened. And Marion says, thank you. Much love to you, and which I appreciate. Karen says, yes, thanks. I saw a repeating pattern yesterday. Boy, that is music to my ears, because when we become aware enough to see our patterns repeating, and we've all got them really, even when we think we've cleared them years ago, and all of a sudden they appear again, because they're to really exercise. That's why I love this new work I'm doing, because we can get right down into there and totally clear them totally out. But anyway, and Kayla says, hi, and I actually have a treatment for you here, Kayla. So, are you back? If you're back, great. And if you're not, thank you for checking in. What I've got here was enjoyment of the journey as healing continues. And 3 numbers I picked for you was 12, 4, and 3. So the 12, 4, and 3 to me was the acceptance of where you are, feeling a little stuck, but the love in your heart and the love of life and the love for the divine just carries you. It's like a cloud that carries you through. So in the treatment, I know there is one power in one essence. And I know in this essence that you are one with, that there is such an acceptance of love for yourself and those that you love and care about. But there are times when you're tired. And that's what I get. So there are times when you're just tired. And I just want to say, love yourself. Know that at this time, other people have to do their own work. They have to make their own love connections. You can't be dispensing it all to everybody that you know and love. It's like, let's take it in and just relax and be with the love and let the batteries recharge and bring the delightfulness just into your own space and have that grow and grow until you feel, oh, I can let a little of that go and let it reside. We all, which is coming out tonight, actually, I think we all have to find our own love space and know when to give it out and how much to give it out and all of that. So I give thanks in the knowing of this. I believe this is important information for anyone, including Kayla. And I release this thought, knowing it is true and done for Kayla. Love and healing is there, and so it is. Amen. Oh, hang on. I'm just writing down further. She did write in some things, so we'll see how that works out. Karen Lee says, thank you so much. Oh, and then I'm awesome. Thanks. Kayla again says, which I miss, Kayla. I already got something organized for you. Please treat for healing for a frozen shoulder and chest infection for me. Okay. Basically, what I said fits that. You've got to take care of you. Okay. For Jason and Diamond, see all obstacles removed for passports and plans for the next wedding date in December 30th. Oh, okay. I'm just going to make a note. Jason and Diamond. Wedding plans. No obstacles. Okay. Now, I'm just going to ask for the numbers. It's 2, 3, and 4, believe it or not. Okay. Very unusual. Okay. 2 is all about choices, moving through obstacles. 3 is the love vibration, and 4 is, the fear, getting kind of rigid and stuck. So let me see. knowing that there is one power and one essence, and knowing that we're all connected to that essence, I speak my word for Jason and Diamond. I speak my word regarding their wedding on December the 13th, that any and all obstacles, whether self-created by the authorities, whatever, just dissipates. That the decision is made, and then everybody pulls into line with that. And the love force can move forward, even if there is fear underneath, that something will come up. We're going to eradicate the fear, let the fear go. Know that now is the time. It is enough obstacles. Now we can climb over them, because the law of love is there. It's just choosing yes. No matter what, we're jumping over these, and it will go ahead with love and light and ease. I give thanks in the knowing of this. I give thanks in the awareness of this. And so that you're moving forward. And as I just take a breath, I just know that over Jason and Diamond's heads is a star. And that starlight's twinkling down and just fortifying their fears into dust, and letting things just unfold like a beautiful red carpet, knowing, yes, it is time. All obstacles have been removed. And so it is. Amen. Jason, Trace, you are feeling better? Yes, I am. I'm not 100%, but lots of good things are happening. You're on fire tonight. Love listening, and thank you for your knowledge. Has been enjoying your audio on your website, your past lectures. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, you know. I sit here in my place and do what I can do. So it's always nice to get that back. CJ, hi Norma. Hope you are well. Numbers 1, 4, and 5. I think 5 was a number that I had pointed. You know how I was talking on last Wednesday on how same numbers often keep appearing. I was looking at already what I had down for people, and I noticed 5 kept showing up. Please, with anything you see, I will do that. The thing, CJ, is that for you, you have all the tools and everything is possible. But sometimes the belief system just doesn't flow with it. And you always feel there has to be one more piece of knowledge or one more piece of something that needs to fit in so that you can actually go do what you want to do or be who you want to be. I think that is just self-created, because it's on our path that we run into the obstacles that are there. It is on the path that we move, that we see, that we can see as, I forget now who it was that talked about an old pattern. We get to see our patterns of behavior. We get to see where we got. When I just honestly, when I look back over my life, I realize how many opportunities I missed because I didn't believe in myself. The idea was there. People even presented the idea to me, but I was scared and I didn't believe or trust in myself to move forward. And that's what I'm sensing here. Like I'm familiar with this, because and I missed some very interesting and possibly very dynamic opportunities. I took other opportunities, yes, because it was sort of in my wheelhouse and easy to do. So it's like here I see you've got all the tools. You've got to believe. You've got to know that you have the information to share. You've got the information to utilize. It's this fear of what if? What if it doesn't work? What if it isn't right? What if people don't listen? Whatever it is that's going on in here is blocking you from actually doing what you know what to do. So, oh boy, do I know this one. Divine. As I connect to that divine light of love, and I speak my word for CJ, I know that she knows. I know that for her, everything is there. Now, sometimes we don't see that's there, but to know that it is there. So it is the walking over our mental obstacles. It is the walking over things that say, oh, I can't possibly do that. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough information or whatever that those rationalizations say to us. But the reality is you have the knowledge. And even if you don't have it in that moment, you will attain the knowledge. Because if you want it, it will be given unto you. You're not a separate identity in this world. And so, oh, I see there, you've got, yeah. And so it's really about recognizing that ask. The one thing about the magician, which is number one, that says all things are possible, he has all the tools, but guess what he has to do? He has to aspire above for the energy to create, because unless you work to create, I always used to say, if you want to bake a cake, you got to get all the bits and pieces, put them together, put them in the oven to bake. That's what the magician is about taking what you know, putting it together and letting it work. And from that, you get to see, what have you got to change? Did you put too much salt in the cake? Did you not put enough this? Did you not put enough that? You learn by doing, not by sitting stationary and wondering, how will it be? It's about doing. And I just think you need to use your knowledge. Use it. You got it. Use it. And if you feel you're blocked completely, take a step. Do something different. Make a phone call. Talk to somebody. Get over the feeling that there is nothing that one can do or create or things like that. Because I know this is there, because I sense that, and I feel, I've been there myself, so it's very clear to me. Understand the law of love. Now, I have a belief system about the law of love that I talk a lot about, but it's like you've got to find your own. You've got to touch into that, whether it's through meditation, which is where I got a lot of mine. A lot of it was instructions. A lot of it was doing different things where I could feel that power. And it's very easy, like I did last week, get lost a little bit because of everything else that seemed to be going on. But we're humans and we do that. But you've got to believe, my dear. So in this final element of this very strange mental mind treatment, I know that all you're needing to do is aspire above or out, aspire out. They kind of draw it out like it's above, but it could be anywhere. It can be just in front of your heart, letting the heart feel the love of the universe, feeling the love of the earth, feeling the love of the trees. People find their inspiration wherever they find it, but bring it inside and allow it to grow. And in allowing it to grow, you'll make the moves that you need to. You'll clear out the blocks that say, I can't do this, or who do I think I am, or what am I really trying to prove? And all of you that have 4s tonight, which is another number there's been a lot of, 5s and 4s, is where going to look at where you inhibit yourself and say, I don't know if I can do that. Remember, when I'm reading a lot for people, not reading a lot, but often when I'm doing a reading, I explain the mind is the framework. The emotions fill in the framework. So they're your action. So when you're frozen because you're afraid that it's not going to work, or people are going to laugh at you, or whatever the fear is, you're stuck. And this is where you need to move forward and learn that the universe has your back always. Always have your back. Have you ever heard me talk about the shadow self? I have such a different viewpoint than most people. And it's like, it has your back. So if you want to move forward and do what you want to do and get unblocked, you got to take a step. As I say, pick up the phone, talk to somebody, go do something different. Do something different and begin to see how you respond. That way you really, really begin to fear where you're heading and where you're going. I give thanks in the knowing of this, and I trust that CJ will begin to know that she is loved, supported, and that she can move forward in life using the knowledge that she already has. And as I release this thought, I just do it by saying, and so it is. I just noticed that Kayla had written here too. Thank you very much for these prayers, and especially for your image of the star and process. You are, sorry, when I read about things to me, I just still have trouble sometimes totally accepting them. You are so gifted and give so much. I hope you two are loving yourself more. Oh, I am. I had a week where I was just not good. But, you know, they show the difference, right? But my guides came through and really showed me and made a huge difference, actually. And today I got a whole pot of stuff done that I've been wanting to do that I hadn't done yet. So it's really good. And here we are right at 7:30 again. Just want to let you know that I will be here on Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock with Norma Talks. I kind of was looking at what I needed to talk about. And so it'll be interesting to see how that evolves, because I just start off with ideas and then sometimes they evolve and sometimes they don't. But I want you to know, no matter what, I appreciate you coming on Monday nights. I appreciate that I'm still able to do these prayers. I have one little one I want to do very quickly, and that's for our friend Judy. And so her continued healing is continuing. And I give thanks in the knowing that the healing is continued for Judy down in Colorado, and that she is at peace within herself. And I'm knowing that this is true. And in fact, I say, and so it is. Amen. And I wish you well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. One and all, you're loved very, very much. Night now.